You guys been following the Lil Wayne Carter 6 album that has been heavily panned? It is Lil Wayne's first album release since Funeral of 2020, which followed Carter 5, which came out in 2018. A lot of people had this feeling that maybe with Funeral or Carter 5 in particular, Lil Wayne was returning to form, to prime Lil Wayne. But see, that always depended on where you felt prime Lil Wayne was. If you felt prime Lil Wayne was in the early Young Money era and that he was still rolling, well, then maybe you might have a point that he could have been returning to that prime. But I really haven't liked any Lil Wayne projects since Carter 4. I think he's been complete garbage since then. I think the scissor has fried his brain. I am a person who prefers pretty much 2004 to 2008 Lil Wayne, and I like a few songs after that, but somewhat draw the line. But Lil Wayne's Carter 6 album has gotten completely panned and trashed, and everybody's hating on it. And maybe it's a little unfair, but people are saying about Lil Wayne with this album what I've been saying about him all the way back since 2011. So the question becomes with this, though, is with the consensus out now that Lil Wayne is just washed, what athlete does he resemble? What washed sports athlete does he resemble? Because I keep seeing a lot of Michael Jordan Wizards references for Lil Wayne. And if you were somebody that was in the Lil Wayne cult into the 2010s, um, you should have your head checked because he wasn't good by that point. But more importantly, um, he still has had enough of a string of bad runs to where he can't be MJ Wizards. I can't go Michael Jordan Wizards because Michael Jordan Wizards, one, Michael Jordan was actually still effective on the Wizards. Okay. So if you were going to say Lil Wayne's Carter 6 and Lil Wayne now is like Michael Jordan on the Wizards, well, Michael Jordan on the Wizards still was a pretty solid player. Lil Wayne on Carter 6 is not a solid rapper. It's garbage. It's a terrible album. So that alone means you can't go Michael Jordan on the Wizards. Okay. Some people have talked about Brett Favre. I actually like that comparison. Brett Favre was a gunslinger, similar to a freestyler in hip hop, who had some crown jewels and was amazing to watch in his prime, but then hung around too long. And later in his career, had way more misses than hits. And I'm talking about interceptions versus touchdowns a lot of time. Hence the reason he has the interception record. Still had the arm strength when he wanted it. So still could impress you. Just like Lil Wayne still has some bars that he can drop every now and then and still can impress you. But for the most part, Brett Favre and Lil Wayne had the same situation where they hit a level where they were just having many more misses than hits. And Lil Wayne rapping has been Brett Favre being the gunslinger without the arm strength towards the end of his career recently. That's just how it is. By the way, kind of ironic that those two are connected, both from the Gulf Coast. Brett Favre played in the Super Bowl the Packers won in '96 in New Orleans, which Lil Wayne has testified to what made him a Packer fan to begin with. So that's interesting. But at the same time, Brett Favre and Lil Wayne is, I would say, Brett Favre, Lil Wayne does land. Allen Iverson. Now, I'm not going to disrespect Lil Wayne like this, but I do see the point they're making, which is that Allen Iverson is accused in the NBA of being a cultural icon, but only being elite for a short period of time. And that's honestly the truth. Allen Iverson had about a 4-year run where he was super elite. And outside of that, yeah, he put on a show, but he wasn't actually valuable as a player. Many times he held his team back. Didn't do much in the playoffs outside of that 4-year run. And even within that 4-year run, I mean, we're talking one NBA Finals run that propelled him. He won regular season MVP that year. Shouldn't have happened. Should have gone to Shaq. I'm going to get to in a minute, by the way. Shaq, unfortunately, was held against him that he didn't live up to the standard that he had the previous year. But some people think that about Lil Wayne, and it depends on when you're a Lil Wayne fan, but some people think that he just had a mid 2000s run of 3 to 4 years where he was dropping fire and then became a cultural icon, but the actual quality of the bars he's dropped is not there. I'm not going to disrespect Lil Wayne by that like that because there are still periods after and before where he dropped some bars. So I'm not going to say Allen Iverson. I heard, and this is my first favorite all-time athlete on Twitter, I heard somebody mention Ken Griffey Jr. And the reason I heard that is because Ken Griffey Jr. was a prime, elite, Hall of Fame, arguably GOAT player in his 20s throughout the 90s. But the entire second half of his career, it was almost sad to watch because of how he couldn't stay healthy. He got hurt all the time. I always felt that was unfair to Griffey because if you actually look at Griffey's numbers in Cincinnati, like you would take that 10-year career still, and he was doing that in his 30s on the back end, and he wasn't cheating. But no, I get the point. But the person Lil Wayne resembles the most is Shaq. Lil Wayne's hip-hop career mirrors Shaquille O'Neal's sports career in the NBA. And let's break it down. Lil Wayne's Hot Boys era is Shaq in college playing at LSU. Lil Wayne was part of the Cash Money crew, had fun lines and funny verses and funny hooks like on Bling Bling and on Juvenile's Back That Ass Up and then on Project Chick. But he was really held back because he was in a group. Just like Shaq was really held back in college because he kept getting fouled and no one would call it because nobody knew how to referee him. Lil Wayne's solo Manny Fresh era was Shaq on the Magic. You saw raw potential, incredible talent. You saw Shaq make the NBA Finals before getting beat by Hakeem. With Lil Wayne, you saw the block is hot where you could really see the bars he could drop. You then saw it end with the first Carter album when he had Go DJ and Bring It Back. And in between those, Lights Out was pretty good. 500 Degrees was mid, but Lights Out was pretty good too. So Lil Wayne's solo Manny Fresh album, solo Manny Fresh era, Lil Wayne's solo albums under Manny Fresh rival and are parallel to Shaq on the Magic. Then you have Lil Wayne, Carter's 2 through 3, plus the mixtapes in between, Dedication, Dedication 2, The Drought 3. This is the Lakers Shaq, the unstoppable force that completely took over the NBA that you couldn't do anything about. Lil Wayne was the unstoppable force that took over hip-hop. This happened from 2005 to 2008. You couldn't do anything about it. I would say it starts with Carter 2 and Dedication in 05, and then lasts through Carter 3 in 2008. And I would say in between then, again, like I said, Dedication 2, Drought 3. Even like Father Like Son, the album he did with Birdman, that is Shaq on the Lakers with a three-peat, winning an MVP, should have been 2 or 3 straight finals MVPs, going to 4 finals in 5 years. That's that Shaq, okay? The early Young Money era of Lil Wayne, We Are Young Money, No Ceilings mixtape, which was pretty good. The Sorry for the Wait mixtape, pretty good. I Am Not a Human Being Part 1 and Carter 4 is Shaq in Miami, which is some hits, like winning a title with Dwayne Wade, getting them to the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and some misses, like playing like garbage in the 2006-2007 season. The misses for Lil Wayne in that is Rebirth. Rebirth was a garbage album, came out during this time, came out in 2009, one of the worst albums in the history of albums. And as a punk pop fan myself and an alternative rock fan, I just felt like he was catering to a crowd. It was embarrassing. It was cringe to watch. It was one of the worst projects in the history of projects in music. Just like Shaq's 2006-2007 Miami season was very cringe to watch. Shaq in the Phoenix era. That's Lil Wayne as We Are Young Money was taken off. And we're talking I Am Not a Human Being Part 2, Dedication 5, Sorry for the Wait Part 2, Free Weezy album, No Ceilings. Shaq in Phoenix is Lil Wayne embracing the Tunechi side of him. Shaq in Phoenix is Lil Wayne Tunechi era. I Am Not a Human Being Part 2, one of the worst projects of all time. That would be his worst project if not for Rebirth, which was so bad. Dedication 5, a waste of everybody's time on a mixtape. Sorry for the Wait Part 2, a waste of everybody's time on a mixtape. Free Weezy album, No Ceilings 2. Nobody cared about that. That was Shaq in Phoenix, old as heck. Shaq in the Cleveland era is the post-Cash Money era for Lil Wayne, Dedication 6 and Carter 5. Nothing special, but a little respect came back to both of them. A little respect came back to Shaq in Cleveland because he helped Cleveland get the best record in the regular season one year with LeBron trying to win them a ring. And a little respect came back to Lil Wayne because Carter 5 felt like it was a return to form for Lil Wayne. And then Shaq in the Celtics era is Lil Wayne now. And that is Funeral and Carter 6. Okay, because Funeral and Carter 6 is just a shell of the Lil Wayne we all knew. And Shaq in the Celtics was a complete shell of everybody we knew. So Lil Wayne's career completely parallels that of Shaq's. By the way, both got their starts in Louisiana, Shaq playing for LSU and Lil Wayne obviously in the Cash Money era. So it's kind of funny that they're tied with that. And it just goes parallel all the way down. And Carter 6 is Shaq on the Celtics. Carter 6 might be if Shaq came back and tried to play right now after 15 years on TNT. Okay, that's how bad Carter 6 is. So Lil Wayne is Shaq. That is the player of the NBA he most parallels.